Hi everybody, Steve here making another one of these handheld iPhone videos. This is the brand new oil painting that I recently finished. It's 24 inches by 36, so 2 feet by 3 feet. Much bigger than I normally work. This is the kind of the easel table thing that I use. I have a piece of butcher paper behind it just so I don't get it all full of paint. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this painting, the process, a few little tricks. I tried to do something different with this one. It's basically a looser painting. It looks very realistic, especially from a distance. But as you get close, you see brushstrokes. And it's more detailed, obviously in the center where the building is, the tree branches, the swing, a little puddle. And I really enjoyed the process of trying to paint as much of it as I could at one time, in one sitting, a la prima. And then I went into it after it was dry. It takes a couple days to dry to add more of the detail. But you can see here off to the side the implied, the woods, the trees, the implied look of a million branches by the original layers of smearing the paint together and then putting the more detailed branches over that. Let me put my hand here to give you an idea, size-wise, kind of what we're looking at. This is where a lot of the work took place, a lot of the fussy work, all those little horizontal lines. And the little branches on this tree, I just couldn't stop making it look realistic here in the center. But I just kind of forced myself to stop with the same level of detail over the whole piece. You see the grass here in the foreground. I love using oil paint for grass. There again is my hand. These colors are probably not right. They look too cool. Just looking at my screen right now, they have more of a glow to them in reality. When I'm doing an oil painting like this, I'm doing a layering approach where I'm trying to get as much done in one layer as I can. Just one sitting, a day or two of painting, and then you just leave it alone and come back after that layer is dry, which I'm painting pretty thin, so it only takes a couple of days. So the sky is a couple of layers. I think the grass in the foreground is, 3 layers, maybe 4, but I think it's 3. In the building, I think I went over that about 4 times, and I again held back from adding even more detail. If you get super close here, let me use a small brush here. This is a number 1. You get super close, you can see it's paint, but it becomes very real as you back just a few feet away. And being this large, for me anyway, it really lends itself to, I don't know, it feels like you can enter into the feeling of space more easily when the painting is larger. And because it's larger, and obviously this has a great deal of atmospheric perspective to it. There's just the image itself has a great deal of space in just what you see. Very near foreground, middle ground to very distant background. All of those things, if painted correctly with the right colors and values, really gives you a feeling of space, and any additional, fussy little detail it's never necessary, but I think is even less necessary in a large painting like this. I wish you could see it in person. This is as good as we can get right now with with the world the way it is and technology, and I can't invite everybody over to my house, and you couldn't make it anyway. This painting is sold, and I'll be sending it off to the wonderful collector. And the last thing that I will be doing is I will spray varnish to not only protect it, but to even out all the tones. It does darken the darks just a little bit. In oil, similar to acrylic, when they dry, some pigments, they get a little dead, they get a little less dark than they were when you applied them. So varnish helps that. But it makes it shiny, and I like the look of the shiny varnish, but it makes it really hard to photograph. So I photograph everything before anything is varnished. So that's about it for this episode. I'm going to show you another oil painting that I did, but that'll be a separate video. Here's a thing that I forgot to tell you about. If you see the way the painting is kind of sitting above the ledge, that's because I use little strips of foam board, which are basically the same width or same depth as the painting board. Here, I'll get it really close. This one's got a little ding on the corner, but the frame will cover that up. And I do that because when I get my hand in close, I don't like having the painting down in this little section here where it's hard to get to because the wood is in the way. So this pushes it up a bit. And with different pieces of, you could technically, you could get a piece of foam board this big and you could push the whole painting up higher. But one of the things that I found really useful is to put the foam board there, maybe even a second piece to push it out a little bit. And then I built this thing a long time ago. Let me move this back so you can see it. It's just a piece of wood at the top. Got another piece of wood glued with these little felt things. And then at the bottom, I've got some felt things as well. You can see a couple of those got some paint on them. But here's how it works. This thing can sit on the top. It can rest on the painting itself in some cases. Or if the painting was a little bit smaller, it would just be resting against the table or the easel. I don't know what to call this thing. And then the bottom is pushed out from touching the painting with those little pieces of felt. If I had another piece of, or a thicker piece of foam board here at the bottom, that would be even better. But what this allows me to do is, it's just a mahl stick, but it's a lot easier than a mahl stick. So I can rest my hand right over the top, as close as I can to the surface. It's just a little thing that I came up with, I don't know, gosh, 5-10 years ago. There it is. You can see it in conjunction with the whole painting. That's it. And then the next project, hopefully, will be showing in much more detail a very photorealistic sort of watercolor, the thing that I'm most known for. In the meantime, I just wanted to show you what I'm working on. Hopefully you'll find this interesting, and down the road I would love to do some tutorials on oil painting as well. But obviously this is more of a watercolor channel. So thanks for watching, whatever your level of interest, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.